Goddess, welcome back to the Hello Goddess podcast. I'm your host, Mandy de Grace. I am a Reiki practitioner, a wellness lover, and a spiritual seeker. So today we have a special guest, my friend Danika Doucet. Danika is a breathwork facilitator, yoga teacher, and a trauma-informed embodiment coach in training. Her mission is to help people who feel stuck, disconnected, or dysregulated reconnect to their body, emotions, intuition, and inner power using the bottom-up approach of moving energy from the body. She uses somatic tools and techniques such as breathwork, movement, and sound with her one-on-one clients and group classes. Without further ado, let's welcome Danika Doucet. We're online. Hello, everyone. I have my friend Danika Doucet as a guest today. I'm so excited to have her on the podcast. She is some incredible soul, and she has so much to share, so much knowledge. So, Danika, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, hello. Well, thank you first off for having me, Mandy.
Welcome.
Um, so I'm Danika and I am a breathwork facilitator. I use breathwork as a tool to get in the body. I'm also a yoga teacher, been teaching yoga for a few years now. Um, and really the idea of my work to is the is the knowing that everything gets stored in the body. And while we oftentimes try to intellectualize everything and fix everything with our mind, with our intellect, um, the best way to actually move through stuff is to get to the root of it, which is in the body. And these somatic practices, such as breath work, movement, and sound, are three powerful ways to kind of move energy through the body. And so this is the work that I do. And yeah, how I got in it was just on my own personal journey. I felt like there was something missing in my life, and that I wanted to just go deeper within myself, within just just feeling into my body, trusting my own intuition, because I felt so disconnected from my body, from myself for so long in my life that I was craving something deeper, some type
Right.
of relationship with myself where I could really truly trust myself, connect with all parts of me. And yeah, it's been transformational ever since these practices have come into my life. I feel like I'm a completely different person.
For sure. Just so you guys know, I did have a small breathwork session with Danika the other day, and it literally was so game-changing. Like, I felt as grounded as possible. I never felt that feeling of like letting go of anxiety so much. Like, it was so powerful.
Mm.
Um, for you, did you start with yoga first, or was it at the same time?
Yeah. I started with yoga. Funny story. I just decided to book myself a trip to Thailand very spontaneously at like 3 a.m.
I remember that.
Right?
You saw each other at the our Airy, remember?
Say what?
I saw you at Airy, the store in Moncton.
Oh, I don't remember that. That must have been so
Yeah, you told me you booked it on the
on
go
the
there.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah, on the spot.
I decided to book myself a trip to Thailand. And back then, I was really into going to the gym and working my body, because I felt as though if I had a really sexy body, if I had a big bum and a tiny waist, then I would feel worthy,
Yeah, yeah,
which was absolutely not the case. It was a constant race. It felt like a constant race to, if I lost my body, if I skipped a day at the gym, if I ate too much, then I would not be worthy anymore. And
interesting.
so, right, and it's so sad when I think back about that. But I learned so much from it. And what happened was that I booked this trip to Thailand, and then I went and saw my personal trainer, which I had a personal trainer at the time.
Mhm.
And he told me, oh, if I would go to Thailand, I would definitely book a yoga teacher training. And
Oh.
so, spontaneous me, I went online again the next night and booked myself a yoga teacher training, having never done yoga
Oh my
before,
God. That's
right?
incredible.
So I was just like, let's do it, let's do it, let's go.
Yeah.
I end up going on this trip and it changed everything for me. I never ever thought that I would become a yoga teacher,
Yeah.
but then this training got me to look at myself differently and just care for my body more and feel more comfortable in my body without needing it to look a certain way.
Yeah.
So when I came back, it was a deep dive within myself, and it was, yeah, it was really hard because then you kind of go, you get faced with all of these emotions that
The
surface.
shadows. Yeah.
Yeah, all of this shit just comes up, right?
Mhm.
And and it was only a few years after, it was last year that I did a breath practice once when I was in Costa Rica the year after, and it just blew my mind because I felt like I was high.
That's
And
how
then
I
I'm like,
felt. I was
what
like,
is this
whoa.
shit? Yeah, I was like, what is this shit? I can't.
Is this
So I kind of
actually it?
pushed,
Yeah.
yeah, I pushed that aside for a little bit,
Yeah.
but I stayed with my yoga teaching, and I did start teaching yoga back then.
Yeah.
And I stayed with my meditations and all of this stuff.
Mhm.
But then uh, going and finding breath work again last year was when everything shifted because I did this holotropic breath work, which is super activating,
Mhm.
and so much came up. Emotions, like I can't even express the variety of emotions that I experienced within like 15 minutes.
Wow.
It got from like starting to just breathing, right? Oh, this is annoying, okay, and then suddenly full out like screaming
Oh,
and
geez.
right, I'm like, what is going on? I have so much anger inside of me, I had no idea.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
And then crying and then started laughing and then suddenly I felt so blissful and light and I'm like, what is this shit? And from what I can understand, breath work is like meditation on steroids.
It
It's for
is.
those people who have such a hard time to sit down and to meditate because their thoughts are just all over the place. You do some breath work, you're in it.
Yeah.
Like
That's a,
there is no there's like you feel it with every cell in your being.
yeah.
Your body is tingling and it's just the most amazing feeling.
What I find crazy is that it's such a simple practice, but it's so powerful. Like for people who have a hard time meditating because they just think about the technical side of it, like breath work is a very simple way to connect with yourself. And I really like the word you used earlier as somatic healing because like as a Reiki practitioner, I know that the mind, the body, and the soul, they're all connected, right? So in your body, you can have emotions that are stuck there for years, right? And it causes so many problems. You know about this for sure.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, it's that's why it's so important. Can you talk a little bit more about the benefits of breath work?
Yeah. So the thing about breath work is that well, first off, the breath is bi-directional with your emotions. So what happens throughout your day is that you get these uh, like your neurons pick up on some stuff, right?
Yeah.
And this affects uh, your internal functions. So let's say you are in an environment that you pick up stress or you pick up anxiety, something that kind of triggers your system,
Mhm.
and immediately your system is so intelligent that it goes into this fight or flight state,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
your heart rate gets a little quicker. Maybe um, you know, there's so many things that happen just automatically, and your breath is one of these things, right? So your breath can become shallow, Okay, but the cool thing about breath is that it's the one thing that you can actually consciously choose to change, to
Right.
manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you're breathing shallow, so your emotion is triggering the breath, but then if you change your breath, it can actually manipulate your emotion.
Goes
So
both ways, right?
it goes both ways, it's bi-directional. So if you choose, you can slow down your breath or deepen your breath, and this might bring more of a sense of calm in your system, which
Yeah.
is super cool. So within different types of breaths, you can choose the benefits that you want to get out of your practice. So if you are in a state of stress, you can choose certain breaths that might activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest, which is the place where your body just rejuvenates, where it just feels like you can put down your guard,
Yeah.
because oftentimes some people can get stuck in that hyper arousal of fight or flight, and the one of the only ways to come back down is to come into your breath again,
Right.
slow
Yeah.
it down. So benefits for your breath work, you can lower your anxiety. You can it's good for people who have headaches. It's, oh my gosh, there's so many benefits. You can
Wow.
lower blood pressure. Um you can just, my gosh, I'm just blanking on all of these things, but there are so many benefits, but you can also use it as a way to release emotion. So there are some
Mm.
calming breaths, and then there are some activating breaths. So the one that I spoke of earlier, where it brought me into all of these different emotions, this was more of an activating breath. So this is where I consciously choose to breathe in this cyclical motion over and over again to take in a lot of air.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also good to alkalize your pH levels. It's great it's anti-inflammatory. Those are
Nice.
just some more benefits that I'm throwing out there. But great to release emotion. So if you're feeling like you've got just some shit stuck that needs to leave your body, you don't even need to know what it is that you're releasing.
Yeah.
Your body will actually do the work for you. So you just breathe and it just happens. You don't even need to think about it, because that's the beautiful thing of not using your intellectual mind and actually going in the body
It's so
first.
practical. Like it's very easy and practical.
Yeah,
For me, like I've always been a very anxious person, and sometimes the way that my anxiety shows up is disassociation. Like I'll
yes,
just like kind of space out, and I found that meditation, especially breath work, helped me reground myself and reconnect with my surroundings. Like it was so powerful.
absolutely. And
Yeah,
I'm going to add something onto that.
for
The
sure. Yeah.
dissociation and disconnection actually goes in the hypoarousal. So you have your hyper arousal all the way up here, which is your anxiety, your stress, all of this stuff. And then down here, you have your hypoarousal, which is the numbness, the freeze, the
Mhm.
disconnect. And
Yes.
then what you want is to be regulating at this middle state right here.
Okay.
So, what can happen if you're in that disassociation state, and using breath work will actually help to for you to connect back, like you
Yeah.
said, with your surroundings, with your emotions,
In my
with
body.
your body,
Hmm.
to come back into that state of regulation. So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
that probably wouldn't make sense for anybody who's listening to
I
me.
love that. Yeah. So you were, thank you so much, by the way, for sharing your spiritual awakening and your journey. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to different parts of your journey. And if you guys are completely new to breathwork and meditation, like, welcome to the club. I'm so happy to be able to share this knowledge, especially to have you on the podcast and share all of your knowledge with with everyone. You were saying about three pillars. You said in your business, sound, breath, and what was the third one?
movement.
movement. So
Mm,
how do you use those things to help yourself and other people heal?
yeah, oof. So, like I said, it's all body up, body first, right? Ground up.
Okay.
When I, the three main pillars to move energy in the body is movement, sound, and breath. And the way that I use these, right? Breath work,
Mhm.
I kind of touched on that. Now, movement, it's moving your body any way that feels good for you. So that might look like shaking your body. It might look like, a yoga practice. It
Yeah.
might look like qigong or running or walking. But all of this is just it's going in the body. And then when I am talking about sound, it can be sound healing. So I just bought this beautiful crystal sound bowl, which I love to
Really?
use.
I love that.
It's amazing. And uh, I also like to do toning. So toning is when you create noises, and it's actually creating a vibration in your body. So it can be as simple as just humming the sound of and if you just do that, you'll notice already it's like vibrating in your brain, in your face, in your body. You could also open up your mouth, open up your vocal cords. Like sometimes I'll do some big noises like, you see how deep that is? Like, how
Love
cool
it.
is that,
It's
right?
amazing.
Right? So my clients just know that I'm weird. I have no shame about it, no
Yeah.
shame. But I just find that those three modalities
Hmm.
are so powerful, and to use them all together is
Yeah.
where it's at. It's using what you want in the time that you need it to release that emotion. If you look at an animal in the wild,
Hmm.
let's say like a deer gets attacked by a lion and it ends up freeing itself, okay? And in that moment, that deer, what happens is, and you like, I'm sure there's videos online where you see this, the animal will just shake.
I've
It
seen that before. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the reason why it does that is to release the trauma in the body. So for us humans, when we are growing up, there's so many times uh, where we get triggered, and instead of shaking it out, which would be an amazing thing to do, we'll just store it in the body so it gets stuck there. And that's why sometimes it can be overwhelming to do these sounds, to do these movements. But if you have uh, that knowledge inside of you, and then you get faced with a triggering situation or something that brings something up for you, and immediately you shake it out, or you make noise, or you do breath work, you can in that moment release it instead of having it store in your body because it doesn't belong to you.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know about Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was saying that like compared to animals, we can turn on the fight or flight mode by thought alone. And that's why like we have to get back into our body and just like let it go in a animalistic way. Like we have to like just let things go because we have such a long um reaction to things. I think things that happened like years ago we're still holding on to in our bodies. So yeah, this is a powerful way to let go of these things.
Yes, 100%.
So I was wondering too if we could do a little demonstration and
Mm,
whoever's listening can join us.
absolutely. I would love to.
Okay.
Okay. So the breath that I would love to do today is just a box breath, super easy, and you can use this at any point in your day, before you go to bed, when you wake up in the morning, anytime that you're feeling a little stressed out, or maybe you have a headache, this breath is one of those really calming and centering breaths. So the way that it works, it's 4 parts, all equal parts. You breathe in, then you hold your breath, then you breathe out, and you hold your breath at the bottom. And you can do this for, today we're going to be doing 4 counts each, but you could be doing 5 counts, 6 counts.
Yeah.
You could also up the increments as you go, whatever you choose. So,
Let's do it.
if you'd like to breathe with us today, I'll just invite you to get yourself comfortable. Maybe you can be sitting or lying down, whatever feels best for you. And just take a moment. You can close your eyes if it feels comfortable for you, or just keep a low gaze. And just take a moment now to feel the support of the ground under your body. So really feeling into that physical support. And if you're sitting, maybe you can get even taller. So lengthening your spine and then relaxing your shoulders, relaxing all the muscles around your face and your eyes, your jaw. And let's take a deep clearing breath together in your nose. And then open your mouth to let it go. Good, let's do one more like that. In your nose. And let it go. And breathe in your nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for 4, 3, 2. Out your nose, 4, 3, 2. Pause, 4, 3. In, 4. Pause, 4. Out, 4. Pause, 4. In, 4. Pause, 4. Out, 4. Pause, 4. One more round. In, 4. Pause, 4. Out, 4. Pause, 4. Now take a deep breath in. Just hold it here at your heart. And see if you can relax any muscles around your face, your eyes, your shoulders. Keep on holding your breath. And this time, when you go to release, I'll invite you to do a humming noise to release all the way out. And then take another deep breath in. And make some noise as you release it out. And just take a moment now to breathe in and out from your nose and become aware of all the sensations, maybe some new space that you just created. Just noticing this new feeling. Maybe you've brought in some calmness, and this is everything that you just created. When you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes and just come back. So
Ooh,
how are you feeling with that?
oof. I am sure a lot of people are feeling the same way, but it's such a huge shift.
Mm.
Yeah, even I found everything looks brighter too. It's like
Oh yeah.
here. Thank you
That's the
so
thing,
much.
and you got it, you hit it right on the nail, the shift,
Yeah,
right? The energy shift. And what I want to add with that is that breath work is such a beautiful practice to shift your energy instead of resorting to coping mechanisms that you're used to. Um, if you have a habit of, for example, I would struggle with binge eating, or someone would have like a addiction, or addiction to drugs or whatever it is.
exactly.
Usually the reason why we go towards those things is because it offers us comfort and an energy shift.
Ooh, I have chills. That's so true.
So instead, when you notice that urge to want to shift your energy, you can choose to do it differently.
Yeah.
You can choose consciously, hey, instead of doing what I've always done, how about I breathe and see how I feel afterwards?
Yes.
Hmm.
It's such a healthy way to cope with pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's game changing for sure. I just want to say thank you too for your beautiful work. A lot of people are learning from you, and you're just amazing in every way. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
So before we go, is there where could people find you on the social media?
Yeah. So at this moment, I'm most active on Instagram. My Instagram handle is I am Danika Doucet. And perhaps Mandy, you could link it in the
Description. I
show.
will. I
Yeah,
will.
amazing. So yeah, that's where I am mostly. You can always DM me here if you want to work with me. I work one-on-one with clients, and we work either in person or on Zoom online.
Mhm.
And I'm also in training to become a trauma-informed embodiment coach. So this is another leg that I'm adding on to my services. And I have a page on Facebook, but it's not very active at this moment.
Okay.
But yeah, you can also find me there. And I'm also teaching at this new studio that's opening up in Moncton. It's
Oh,
called True Yoga.
through yoga.
Yeah. And over here, I am doing a class of just breath work for 45 minutes. And my second class that I'm teaching is called Breath, Movement, and Sound, which is not only restricting me to yoga asanas. This is something that I am kind of uh, kind of separating myself from, because I believe that movement is all encompassing. You know, you can
Mhm.
have these yoga asanas, but there's so much more than just the yoga practice. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, those are the places that you could find me for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm definitely gonna take that class.
Yes, yes, it's gonna be so powerful.
Thank you so much for being a guest on my podcast, Anika. I'm so happy you got to share your passion and your work.
Well, thank you for having me.
Fine. So yeah, if you're thinking about contacting Danika for a session, I highly, highly recommend her. She's amazing, as you can see, and she will be able to help you guide you through your own healing. All right, so we're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, and thank you, Danika, again.
Thank you. Oh, didn't you want to ask me about the goddess thing?
Oh yes! Oh my God! Okay, so the question I always ask my guests is, what is your definition of a goddess?
Hmm. Okay, girl.
It's your
Um, yeah, so mm, I I really believe that my definition of a goddess is just someone who identifies as a woman and who is in their power, in their body, standing in their truth, and trusting in her own intuition and um, just just attune with Mother Earth and her senses and
Mm.
playful. Just playing all day, every day. That's my goddess.
You're definitely a goddess, especially with those face buns. They're so cute.
Yeah, right?
Thank you so much for sharing this, Danika.
Thank
I'll
you.
talk to you soon.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast slash video. If you're interested in working with Danika, just look in the description box and I will put all of the links there. Sending you all of the love, all of the light, and the Reiki energy. Bye.